family to a live stream. Let me put the hat backwards just so that we have the right exposure here. So I wanted to make a video about everything I know about the iPad photo booth and everything that you guys should know. So this is what this whole stream, this whole video is going to be. If you're watching this at a later time, obviously, you're late, but if you guys are watching this live, please feel free to type in whatever comments and questions you may have. Let's just wait a second. So everything you need to know about the iPad photo booth, right? We're gonna dive into literally everything from which iPad, the iPad to get, the storage I think I recommend, Wi-Fi with cellular, and a bunch of other important things that you need to do and know about your iPad, and also operating an iPad photo booth. We're even going into details about, the types of rentals you can do with the iPad, the pros, the cons. We're gonna dive into it all here. So, my friends, it starts off with the iPad, right? A misconception is that you can use any iPad for a photo booth, and that's not true. You need to know exactly what iPad model, what size, generation you can use for your photo booth. So for instance, if you are using any of the deluxe booths that we sell, you can only use the 12.9 iPad Pro, or you can upgrade to the 13-inch iPad. We have different faceplates. So why does that matter, right? 12.9 inches versus 13, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, for the 12.9 iPads, the camera, right, the front-facing camera is up here. And the new 13-inch iPads, the camera's right here. So it matters because if your photo booth is fit for a 12.9, you're gonna have the camera open here, but it's gonna be blocked off here. So the generation and exactly what iPad matters. If we're talking about what's the best iPad to use, I'm still gonna say the 12.9 or the 13-inch because size does matter when we're talking about a photo booth, right? You want to be able to have a bigger screen. So when your guests are seeing themselves and when they're pressing the buttons on the iPad, it is bigger. Bigger is better in this case. So make sure you know what iPad you need for your photo booth. You guys, super important. I can't tell you how many people will buy a photo booth from us and then just say, hey, my iPad doesn't fit. Well, what iPad do you have? I have a mini. The mini is not a good iPad, and it's not going to fit into the photo booth because the photo booth is sized precisely to hold the iPad and keep it safe. All right, we got a question here. Shoot, how do I get to the questions? Okay, 302 Party Rentals got my backdrop yesterday. Looks great. You the man. My friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, right. Why am I always like why do you guys probably wonder, why does this guy only talk about iPad photo booths? Well, simplicity, right? Your iPad is gonna be running the whole show. Front-facing camera, right? We don't care about the back, we're using the front. The computer is the iPad. The internet, right? We have built-in internet with our iPads because we have the cellular version for the iPad. So, being said, this is such a simple setup. You have your iPad, you have your software that goes on the iPad. For us, that's Luma Booth, right? Then you throw your iPad into your photo booth stand. Your stand has the light, protects the iPad from being stolen, and that is it. A DSLR photo booth, you guys, is gonna be so much more complicated. You have the camera, the lens, the hot shoe mount, the wire that goes from the mount to the flash, then you have the flash, then you have your computer, and you have a bunch of wires everywhere, things need to be charged. This is so much more simpler. So, before we get into the drop-off and before I start talking about the pickup and the types of rentals you can do specifically with the iPad, let's get into the nitty-gritty, right? What memory size should you be using for your iPad for your photo booth? My answer is, if you're balling and budget doesn't matter, get the one with the biggest storage. However, if you don't, if money is an issue, or if you want to save some money, get the iPad that has the smallest storage possible. You don't need a terabyte to run a photo booth. However, just keep in mind, if you get the smallest storage possible, you do have to keep your eye on the storage to make sure it's not getting full. But hey, once every 4 months, check your storage. And if it's getting full, transfer the content from your iPad to a hard drive, then delete. If you guys have Luma Booth or any type of high quality software, all your photos will be saved on an online gallery. So, storage. There's two different types of iPads you guys can get. Wi-Fi only which means if you want to get to the internet, or if you want to run a digital photo booth where people can get their photos, you need internet. And if it's Wi-Fi only, you have to connect to an outside source of internet. Whether that is your venue's internet, you know, whether it's the venue itself or the people, let's just say you have a house party, their internet. Or if you have a hotspot device, then you can connect to the internet. I don't recommend not having any internet. So if you're gonna use the Wi-Fi only, you're probably getting a better deal on your iPad. You know, the Wi-Fi only iPads, you have a better deal, but my favorite is to get my iPad that has Wi-Fi plus cellular capabilities. So from T-Mobile, we have service on all of our iPads. The reason is when I do a drop-off or a pickup option, right? Once the iPad is turned on, we're connected to internet. I don't need to rely on an outside source, and a hotspot device is great, but it's just another thing that I have to worry about. It's another device that needs to be charged, that needs to work. So I would recommend getting it with cellular, but cellular will cost you more money. Again, don't be scared to invest, you guys. This is one thing I really want to stress in the year 2024 is, you know what? You know, in the past, I've always talked about doing things the cheapest way, but if you're going to cut corners, get the lowest memory, but I'm telling you, you'll thank me later, get the cellular data. It makes everything so much easier. So those are the two iPad options. Apple Care, should you get it? I'm on the fence, you know, on getting Apple Care, but that's totally up to you. I personally like getting my iPads off of Amazon. The refurbished ones are really, really cheap. Amazon has a really good return policy if I were to get a DOA iPad or an iPad that was cracked or whatever. So, and again, look, I said earlier, I think the best two iPads, 13-inch iPad, which is the newest iPads. They have an iPad Air that's 13-inch. You can use it for our photo booths, or I'm sorry, you can use it. Yeah, you can use it with the Deluxe Duo or the Deluxe Rotate. The 13-inch Air, there's the 13-inch Pro, or any of the 12.9-inch iPads. Just simply for the size, right? The processing and all that stuff, it's okay. It doesn't really make a difference. Next up, I would use an 11-inch iPad. That's an iPad Pro. The 10.9 10th generation iPad is still a solid option. But again, guys, make sure your photo booths, the ones that you're going to use, can fit those iPads. Okay, some things that you should remember about your iPad to get the best quality photos. Let's get the basics down first before we talk about the rentals and what you can do and the money. We're going basic. So you see this iPad, you see the smudges on it, right? This is no bueno, right? When you leave your photo booth or your event, I'm not even saying you're doing a drop off, before your event starts, you need to make sure you have screen cleaner and you're wiping this down. You guys have to remember, we're using the front facing camera. So the quality already is not limited, but like if your camera up here there's smudges on it, your photos will look soft every single time. I don't care how much lighting you have, how close your photo booth is to the backdrop. You need to make sure this is clean. And it's an easy step to skip. So always make sure you have this thing clean. Also, I'll have that. I usually have that. I don't think I have that, but if you guys just write in the comments, if you want to know which screen cleaner we use, we buy it from Amazon. It's like, I don't know, $8. So, to get the best quality photos from your iPad, if you're going to be attending the event, right? Let's open up Luma Booth. Luma Booth is the iPad photo booth software we use. We have a sign up and discount code. If you want that, let me know. You can also have access to our group chat for the software. So your software, Luma Booth. If you're going to be at the event, guys, what I recommend you do is you learn the basics of photography, because in Luma Booth there is a, let me see, camera settings section, right? Most people just use the automatic settings. They'll use the automatic settings. And if you're doing a drop off or a pickup option, then definitely leave it to automatic, because you can't change, you know, if you're not going to be there, you can't change the settings to adjust if the lights turn off and on. But if you're going to be there, do manual camera settings. You will be able to get the crispiest, most dialed in photos possible. Another tip, if you want best quality photos, make sure your photo booth, your iPad photo booth, right? You got to make sure the photo booth is no more than 5 feet away from the backdrop. The reason is if you check, look, most iPad photo booths, even the ones we sell, have LED lights, just the round light that is around the iPad. Those lights don't travel super far. So the sweet spot, anything past 5 feet, you really, really lose lighting. And again, you have to remember we're using the front-facing camera on the iPad. The sensor is tiny. It's tiny. So lighting is everything. I always would recommend, if you're gonna be there at the event, why not bust out extra lights? On Amazon, you can type in LED light bar on tripods. They're like 85 bucks. Or you can get like one big light to go overhead. If you're really concerned with lighting. I'm telling you, most of the time when we do events, when we stay, I don't bring extra lights, but I always make sure to follow the 5-foot rule. Other ways to get really good photos would be to make sure, if your event is outdoors, that you're under shade. When you're out in the open and the sun is out, I'm telling you, it's a problem in these shadows. It's almost impossible to get rid of those when you're in direct sunlight. Misconception is that you need to be in a room with light to get the best photos. It's actually the opposite. The darker the room you're in, the better quality the photos will look, because your light will be able to travel in the direction that it's pointing, if that makes sense. I know it sounds really, it's like a weird statement, but it's, from my experience, that's the best. Okay, I think we can move on to the benefits, and why another thing why I absolutely am Team iPad is, since this is a simple setup, right? This is literally all the hardware that you have basically is right here. Then you have your, your photo booth show. Since it's so simple, you can do the photo booth drop off, literally, where you get paid money to go to an event, you set up your equipment, you leave. We're talking digital sharing only. Text, email, airdrop, QR code, instant photos. That's what we're talking about. Since there's no printer, you don't really need to worry about that. I personally do drop-offs now with prints, but I guess I have no fear when it comes to this stuff. And I wouldn't recommend just diving into the prints, but if you're doing a digital photo booth drop-off, an iPad is your best bet, because with a traditional DSLR photo booth or even a webcam booth, you got too many moving parts to where if you were to have like a DSLR booth, if you move it back, which if you're not going to be there, I promise you, people will move the booth back a foot just to put, they'll move the booth back because they want to fit more people into the frame. It's inevitable. It happens. Look, even in my contracts I have, if you guys move the booth or anyone touches the booth, it's a $50 fee. Ian, what's up, Ian? Welcome. So they're going to move it regardless. Do I ever make them pay that? No. But so what I'm saying is, if they're going to move the booth, if you have a DSLR setup, your photo booth will turn off. There's too many wires. There's too many parts. One thing gets loose, boom, the booth shuts off, and then they can't use it. That becomes an issue. With the iPad photo booth, you guys, I promise you, I could pick my booth up, toss it up like a baby, catch it, shake it this way, shake it that way, put it down, we're good to go, because it's all right here. There's a reason why a lot of these businesses, right, next time you're out at a restaurant, notice what they're on. 9 out of 10 times they're using an iPad. These things are durable, they're reliable, solid pieces of electronics. But like seriously, like the photo booth drop off should be something every photo booth owner you should start considering it. I'm not saying only do it, right? You could still offer your traditional events where you stay there and you do the prints, but allowing yourself to have a drop off option. This is what you're doing, right? You have your price up here. Next time someone tells you, you know what, unfortunately our budget is only 400 bucks, $650 is a little bit out of our budget, or whatever price you're charging, you could say, not a problem. I actually have a rental option for you. It's the photo booth drop off, where you guys can have it for X amount of time at this low rate. There will be no attendant because it is a simple setup where everything is self-automated. And this is the pitch I'm giving to every customer. All of your photos can be sent instantly, and you will even have an online gallery with all of the photos saved. Does this sound like it's something you'd be interested in? They're gonna say yes, right? It's hard to really not debate, but like, it's hard to pass on a deal where they can have it longer, they can have it cheaper, they can have it instantly, and then you will have those customers. I talked to someone earlier today, a customer of ours, where they were like, oh, this customer has their mindset on prints. You're not gonna win over everybody. You have some people that have their mindset on prints, but there's always a solution to a problem. And my recommendation was saying, tell them they can have prints, but you could do prints after the event. where they can pick their favorite 30 photos. We'll print them out and we'll send them to them free of charge. If you have a photo booth printer, you guys, that's like $3.50 to do that. Maybe $4 to print out 30 photos. So it's always trying to show them the value, show them the technology and the benefits of having it, and then also addressing any concerns that they may have. I think, you know, we're going to get back to the iPad booth, but one thing I do want to talk about is if you start approaching your leads and your customers as if they're family members or friends, your business, I'm telling you, your business will take a complete 180. Stop treating these leads as if they're strangers. And when I say this is every time I get a lead, I'm like, okay, let me just assume like this is like my sister. Let me try to help and give them as much value as I can. And when I think like that, I start to address every single problem that I think that they may have. I don't know if this is just something I had to like trick my mind and to really to doing, but once I started treating every single person like a family member, everything changed. So just try to figure out the solutions. And when it comes to the digital photo booth, right, the iPad photo booth, again, I've been saying this forever. Never, ever call your photo booth an iPad photo booth, you guys. Never, even though it is an iPad photo booth. But by going out and saying this, it just sounds cheap. I'll just go out and say it when you're like iPad photo booth. Because people are used to these professional grade cameras or these luxury mirror photo booths. You don't, you know, I'm not saying lie to them. You know, someone called today and they asked if it was an iPad photo booth. I said yes. But I'm not going out of my way to be like iPad. I'll call it a photo booth. I'll call it a digital booth. I'll call it a selfie booth. Anything but iPad. And trust me, this will happen. If you start calling it an iPad booth, they're going to start questioning, oh, how nice are the photos? And the photos look fine. The photos are honestly, iPad photo booth photos, if you follow the rules that I told you guys, lighting, distance, they will look amazing. But they will start questioning your product. Then they will even say, well, if I provide you with my own iPad, can I get a discount? I promise you, this has happened multiple times and it will happen to you. Heather, let me see. Heather had a comment here. Let me see if I can pull this up. I wish there was an easier way to pull up these comments. Dude, I feel like an old man. I can't. Oh, here we go. Heather saying, hey, Drew, thank you for all the info you're always helping with. Oh, my pleasure, Heather. Thank you. Appreciate it. But back to the iPad photo booth, you guys. You know, every person that we sell equipment to from Photo Booth 101, right? We get you the equipment, we get you in the group chats, we get you the help, and then we really push you to start making money. I would say 85 to 90% don't want to do the drop off, and I understand you invest a ton of money into your equipment, into your business, and it's scary. But I see it almost every single time. They get the booth, they do the first 10 events, then they start wondering and they start realizing, damn, I don't need to be here. If you're a photo booth owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those events where, you know, you're standing next to the booth and people walk up to it, they don't even look at you. They press the photo booth, they pose, they press the print button, then they get the prints. A lot of the time you're just standing there making sure your prop table is clean, and that's pretty much all you're doing. I don't know about you, but if I'm not needed somewhere and I can remove myself, I'm gonna do it. So I see most people starting off doing the attendant, then they slowly transition into doing the drop off. And look, if you're not 100% comfortable with it, I have a little solution, or not a solution, I got a challenge for you. Do this. Your next event, I'm not saying completely leave, but set up your equipment, go to the parking lot for 30 minutes. Set your timer for 30 minutes. 30 minutes comes up, boom, walk into the venue, check on everything, see how it's going, go back to your car, next 30 minutes, do it until the time is up. Do that a few times, right? Get that confidence and do that. Then let's just say 4 times you do that. On the 5th time, maybe you drive an hour to go have dinner, or you go somewhere, have dinner, and then you just come back halfway through. Slowly transition, because I'm telling you guys, we did 11 events in one day, dropping off photo booths, and literally changed my whole perspective. 11 events in one day, that would have taken us about, you know, assuming we're only doing one event a week, that was like 2 months almost. Oh wait, no, that's more. What is that? 4, 4, 5, 6. That's almost 3 months of rentals that we were able to do in one day, right? Minus 1 week, because we're doing the drop-offs. And if you have a photo booth and you don't have employees, you're doing it yourself, you know you can only be in one place at one time. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to have employees. And I know having employees can level up your business, but I don't want that. I don't want that stress. I don't want to have to deal with workman's comp, and it gets confusing. I'm not interested in it. So with the drop off, you can be in multiple places at once. Man, we got 11 people watching. I'm going to hit the bell 11 times for you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Thank you guys so much. Honestly, YouTube, you guys, the YouTube audience, you guys have been amazing. You probably noticed we don't post as much anymore because we've seen a lot of results on TikTok, and we've been diving really hard on TikTok. But I'm still uploading 2, 3 times a week versus back when I was doing like once a day. But shout out to you guys. Okay, back to the photo booth drop off. How do you know when you're away that the photo booth is working and it's up and running, right? This can be something that a lot of people are scared about. This is a simple thing here. If you're using LumaBooth, what we do is we have the event link, right? You go to photoshare.co. I'm constantly checking the gallery that for the event. And what I do is we do a test photo. Boom, it's working. We check the internet's good. We dip, and then every 30 minutes I'll refresh it. If I see new photos on the gallery link that I didn't see before, the photo booth is working. It's that simple. If I'm seeing the photos in the gallery, that means it's being used. That means it's being uploaded. No problems. Some things that you will see with the drop off, and this is still iPad related, right? Because I know the whole point of this video was everything you need to know about the iPad, because the drop off, to me, the iPad is the best way to go and only way you should be going. Some things that will happen during a drop off that you have no control. They will move the booth back. It happens. There's nothing you can do. Literally, we've even put a big old magnet here that says do not move the booth. They will move it. People are drunk, they don't read the rules, and if there's no one there to enforce it, it will happen. And it even has happened when I was there. I've seen people do it in front of me. So that's something that you have to, deal with. Not all of your photos will look perfect because sometimes people will not be ready, they're not paying attention, and this is something that you could take handle of if you're there. So not everything is the same, but I have noticed with the drop-offs that when I first started doing it, I'm gonna put you guys on game here. I'm gonna give you guys some really solid info if you're doing the drop-off. I noticed we were getting a lot less leads during the drop-off events versus when I was there, because when I'm there, every single time I see someone new use the booth, I'm handing them a business card. I'm saying, hey, you can actually rent this too. Just, contact us if you're interested. So that was killing me. I was like, damn, I love this drop-off, but we're not getting the leads. I'm not getting the bookings like I'm used to. Then luckily for me, I have the best mentor in the world. He put me onto this thing called the QR code, right? It's not just any QR code, but it's a QR code we made that brings you to my website to get a quote. So it's get a quote, boom, QR code. You scan it, it takes you to my website. There's a form. You have to give me 4 answers. Number 1, your name. Number 2, your email. Number 3, your phone number. Last one, when is your event? What day? Boom. We do that. Now I get double the leads. It's not uncommon for us to get 8 to 12 leads during a drop-off because people want to know more about the rental. They want to know how much it's going to cost them. So what we do is the next day I have all of this data. I will send them an email. Then I will call them 10 minutes after I send the email. Hey, Drew here. I know you used our photo booth last night. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You requested a quote. I sent you an email. Did you by any chance receive that? Oh, no, I didn't receive it. Okay, no problem. Do you have a second? Yeah, I have a second. Perfect. And then I will walk them through the email, the price, what they get, how much does it cost, when can they book, and how can they book. And we were closing deals that way. I don't know why it took me so long to realize it. I mean, I would have probably never realized it unless my mentor told me, and I'm on here sharing this with you guys. But this form of getting a lead at an event is way better than handing a business card. Think about it. If I were to stay there and hand someone a card, I have to trust that 1, they're not going to lose the card, 2, that they'll remember by the next day, and then 3, hopefully that they'll actually end up calling me. But when I have that form filled out, I am in control. They can ghost me the first day, ghost me the second day, but I'm in control of the lead. I can do the follow-up and I have more control of it. And then also I get to see what date their event is. And you notice how I said 4 questions, not 20? Less is more, especially when someone's at an event. The last thing they're gonna wanna do is answer 10 questions. I get straight to the point. Email, phone number, the 2 main ones. Name, obviously you wanna address people when you reach out to them, but yeah. Back to the drop-off, we've done plenty of events that were like multi-day activations. The longest I've left a photo booth on was 3 days straight. No issues. So, super reliable. It's not just an iPad thing, but if you put any electronics in the sun, like direct sunlight, it's gonna overheat. I don't care if your photo booth has a fan, it doesn't matter. It can be a DSLR booth, it can be an iPad booth. You will ruin your equipment, especially out here in SoCal. Direct sunlight is a no-go. What else? You could do the photo booth pickup. This is probably something that's a little bit more advanced. I've had the pleasure to mentor a few people. I got Hans doing the pickup now. My friend Daniel, Gus, and then I think Tyler is offering it now too. So the pickup is literally where people come to you, they pick up the equipment, they set it up themselves, they bring it back. In return, they get one hell of a deal. It should be cheaper than your drop-off rate. But think about it, guys. No more driving to events. No more setting up the equipment. No more breaking down the equipment. No more driving back. They're doing all the hard work for you. And it is a lot more risk, right? You have higher potential of not getting your equipment back. But if you do everything that you should, there's not much that can go wrong. Contracts, you can hold credit card information if you need to, and you can do this with a drop-off. So let me know if you guys are still watching. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Please flood that right now. I want to know where you guys are watching from. It really does mean something to me to know where you guys, the audience is from. Sometimes it's local. Sometimes we have people in Argentina, Europe. So shout out your area, please. Okay, so now let's talk about something that you guys have to do. Flash memories. Are the high-T printers you use reliable? Have you had any issues? What are the pros and cons? I don't know the differences between those two specifically. Let's talk about issues. Have I had issues? No. I know some people have had issues with the printer. Pittsburgh, what's up, Pittsburgh? I know some people have had issues with the printers. Sorry, guys, I dropped it on accident. I know some people have had issues with the printers, but usually what happens is if you have issues with your high-T printer, it probably happened during shipping. Indianapolis, Indiana, love it. So yeah, that's if you have issues, but what I love about high-T, they have really good, Darren is the guy, my connect at high-T. So if there's any issues, depending on who you're buying it from, it should be easy. If you guys buy it from us, we help you with that process if there's any issues. Let's just talk about pros and cons. Pros, we got Nashville in the house. Love it. Shout out to Nashville. Pros are some of the most affordable prints, meaning your cost per print. Another pro is, you see right here, I got the printer right here. It has a screen on the front, so you have easy access to check how many prints are left, how many prints have been done on the printer, etc. There's a menu and all that. A negative is it only holds 500 prints, which isn't terrible. It's not a big deal. But when you compare it to the DNP that we sell, that's 700 prints that it can hold. So you're changing, on the DNP, you're changing out the paper and ribbon less. Also, what I don't like about the high-T printer, it's a little loud, and honestly, it almost sounds like it's broken sometimes. And it's not. It's not just me. Trust me, I've used literally like 18 of these printers, right? They all sound like that. It sounds like you're not doing something right when you close it, and then when it starts printing, it just makes a weird noise, but that's just the way it works. So I guess those are the pros and some of the cons. I think the DNP RX1HS and then the high-T P525L, you can't go wrong with either of them. Also, they're on the heavier side, but man, that's just one thing that gets under my skin is when people talk about, oh, it's too heavy. Well, it's quality. Quality, you can't have both, right? We're not at especially when it comes to printers. It's gonna be heavy, right? And there's lighter printers, but these things are workhorses. We got Weekend Zen. Can you do an iPad drop off with prints or drop off with digital? Yeah, you could do both. But if you're gonna do a drop off with the prints, make sure you guys have here, I'll just show you. This is a product we sell. This right here is a printer cover. It'll the one on the website, it says it's for the high T, but it's also for the DMP. It goes over your printer and it has a catch tray. So if you've ever done prints, you will know sometimes people fight over the prints and they will try to pull it before the printer can cut it. That will cause a jam. If you have that cover, you're good to go. All right, let me see if I can access. Okay, perfect. Flash Memories photo booth. If you don't mind sharing, what insurance do you use? How much is it? We use a company called Hiscox. We're about $30 a month for $1 million policy. And I know a lot of people struggle with getting insurance for their photo booth business, but you have to pick up the phone and call them. Online, for some reason, the photo booth business is such a small niche that like they don't know what category to put you in. So pick up the phone, and then I would recommend speak to an agent. Or there's a company called Next Insurance. So, all right, Flash Memories. How do you deal with kids over printing during print events with the drop off? Just told you, my friend. Right here. Look, the printers fall in the chute, then it comes out over here, and that's all you can do, man. With this the catch tray, they can only get the prints after it shoots out. Look, with the print drop off, I know a lot of people feel really uncomfortable, but I'm telling you, we've done it. We've done plenty of them, and no issue. Yeah. So I think that'll wrap up this video. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I think we talked about it all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Follow us on TikTok. I will be going live on TikTok in about 5 minutes. Got to get some more water and we'll be good. But thank you guys for watching. And if you do want to start a photo booth business with us, we have the best iPad photo booth on the market, the Deluxe Duo, photobooth101.com. You get access to our online community. You have access to me as a mentor. You know, if you use the software we're using, we have a software group chat for that. And last question here, Weekend Zen. What safety measures do you use to protect people knocking over the stand? First of all, our photo booths are sturdy as hell, right? Look. If you knock this thing down, you have to go out of your way to knock it down. So that's defense number one. Defense number two is contracts. Always have contracts. Free event, you need it even more. So I get a lot of people asking, hey, do I need a contract even if it's a free event? Every event you need a contract. In that contract, it states that they're responsible for any damage. Doesn't matter if it's them or somebody at their party, they have to pay. Another thing, I'm not worried about damage. You wanna know why? Because we have parts available for all of our photo booths very cheap. If it's the ring light, it's a $100 fix. If it's the faceplate, $75 fix. So no matter what happens, I'm still making money at the event. And if you have the contracts in line, everything in a line, you're good to go. So you can't prevent anything from happening. Maybe pepper spray if you're gonna be there, or a stick to poke people or something. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of if you wanna actually physically stop. But if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And the real question should be, how do you protect yourself after it happens? Not how to prevent it. Because look, there's always gonna be a situation that's out of your control, whether it's someone falling into it, right? That's all you can do. But one thing for sure during a drop-off, you guys remember this key thing, this is the last thing I'll say before we end it. Film, and take photos of your setup. So before you leave, you need to get your cell phone out. Film a video, right? Just like you guys do with a rental car, if you've ever rented a car. Shoot every little angle of the booth, front, back, side to side, from top. Go to your prop table, right? Get a pan of all the props, your backdrop. That's right before you leave and right before your event starts. It's not even a drop-off thing. It should be any event. Then when the event ends, whether you're picking it up or you're packing up, do the same video, same photos. Because if there's damage from the end that wasn't here in the beginning, something happened in between when they were renting from you. I've seen it happen at events where, you know, when I'm going to pack up, I'll notice like lipstick marks or marks on our backdrops. This wasn't there when we started, but if you don't have the content, the proof, it's really hard to make someone pay for something when you can't prove it. But if you have the content, beginning, end, it's hard to dispute that, guys. And it's happened one time where there was like lipstick on the backdrop, and the customer, obviously before I was like, hey, you know, this happened during the rental. I had the proof. I was like, hey, look, boom, it's timestamped on my phone, boom, to the end. You know, the backdrop's gonna cost you X amount of money, you know, and they're happy to pay for it. And it's easier to have someone pay for something when you show them the proof versus just saying, hey, you owe me this amount of money for this happening. So thank you guys for watching. God bless. I will see you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I plan on doing more lives like this. I don't have a set schedule for it, but hit the notification bell so you can get notified. Thank you guys. God bless. See you soon.